Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights?
Better Call Saul Season 6 Episode 5 is here, titled Black and Blue, which is the English title of Episode 7 of Season 2 of Breaking Bad. The episode saw the introduction of the song about Heisenberg that created memes like this one. And this is the episode before the introduction of Saul Goodman. In this episode of Better Call Saul, we can see the persona of Saul Goodman more and more. And this episode was straight up the mannerism that he has in Breaking Bad. This episode showcased the Empire before the Empire, and this is the beginning of the company of Saul Goodman, or Better Call Saul, and how he started as a small business with big ideas. The Empire of Gus as well as Jimmy is seeing the creation of the Death Star before the events of A New Hope, this being the office of Saul Goodman as well as the Super Lab. This episode is focusing a lot at teasing what the characters become in the future. I don't know what you feel about this episode, but I really enjoyed this one. Doing the same was the reintroduction of Saul Goodman's secretary that we first saw her in Breaking Bad, but it was nice to see the character again. As we know, we first saw her back in 2003 in season 3. This scene set up the seeds that is going to change what Saul is doing, taking criminals, as well as Francesca saying what happened to the old folks. So it's hinting what Saul is gonna become. You know, that he will get the Statue of Liberty, and maybe he takes it from the Kittlemans, who we saw in episode 2. So episode 5 begins with a mysterious man doing art, and we can see that this is a tool that is used to do the map on a different project that you're doing. We discover who this man is at the end of the episode, where we see Lalo, yes, finally, where he is in Germany, talking to the wife of Werner Ziegler, and Lalo wants to know what's going on with and what happened with that character. And because of this part of the episode at the end, at the beginning, we'll start to understand more about what are his plans, which is to find the construction or the super lab, and that is what he's doing now. And that's the beginning of what he wants to do, because the proof is that Lalo wants to find what the character of Gus is doing, which is doing his own meth or his own super lab to do his own and be the one that take control of the production and the construction of meth, which is something that we see in Breaking Bad. So Lalo wants to find, hey, that you're working with our behind our back. That's why he's in Germany. So I hope you guys understood why he's doing this and what is his plan. Now the song is Stiller Natch by Pink Martini and the Bond Traps. And what he's doing is just putting this tool that is used to draw the blueprint of an individual project. And we can see that he does this for a lot of the projects that we saw in his office. And Lalo discovered this, so that is super huge. Now, what will happen is that this is really important going into the future of the show as we see the Super Lab in this episode. Okay, going into the intro of this episode where we see the promotional material that we saw in episode 8 of Breaking Bad. So again, of course, this is a prequel, so we can expect to see that. Okay, moving into what I think is really sad in this episode is Kim, that she's worried about Lalo, and we can see where's Lalo, and he's in Germany. Obviously, after Mike told her that he is alive, she's checking everything. If she knew he is in Germany. This from what we can see here, this is a way to protect her and Jimmy, as she cared and she cannot sleep. This is when Jimmy wakes up, and Jimmy says, "Hey, Lalo is dead," and Kim doesn't say he's alive. Will this hurt her in the future? Something that I believe that is gonna happen. Moving into Gus, who is also thinking, where is Lalo? He's worried about this in Los Pollos Hermanos. He's suffering from some type of PTSD in a way. Word, and you can see how powerful Lalo is, that he doesn't need to be there, but he is powerful enough to make you worry, like, hey, maybe he's outside that location. He goes outside and he just stays there like, hey, where are you, Lalo? Which is just awesome, and he just set up the future of the season. During a meeting with the Sandpiper, Clifford tension about the actions of Howard, you can see that, and this is just a big meeting of this case that the character Kim as well is investigating with Viola, which we see later, as she wants to take control of that case and win that case. That's something that we saw in the previous season. So outside, again, this is where Howard asked about what happened with the character of Wendy, and Howard is smart and he can detect that it's Jimmy, has his hand all over this, but of course Kim is as well. doing this, working with this. So Howard says that he has a Jimmy problem instead of a white powder and Wendy problem, and how what he's going to do during that week, as we can see that later on. Again, we go into Francesca meeting, arriving to the office. Okay, moving into Kim meeting Viola. She's investigating who is the one that is going to work on that Sandpiper case, like the judge, and she get that type of information. Now, this is my favorite part of the episode where Saul goes to Mr. Howard, and this is the confrontation that we all wanted. This is Howard like, hey, let's resolve the issue right now. But as we know, he says that, hey, this is not going to end it, and will we get a revenge fight? But this scene was my favorite. You can see how Jimmy is doing this scene, and they both like fight, and this is just so awesome. But what makes this scene better is when Howard says, yeah, I'm mistaking my kindness for weakness, and it's to show how, hey, I'm gonna go after you. And I just love this scene. This is when Howard then hires a private investigator, and this is the beginning of the fight against Jimmy. But as we know, Jimmy's going to be okay. But what's going to happen with Kim, as she's the bigger target doing all of this? But remember, Mike has someone following Jimmy, so I think he will get to know this and tell Jimmy about what's happening with Howard. So Kim's still worried about Lalo, says Jimmy arriving, all beaten up. And doing this, she says, hey, I'll fight for you. It's something that he says in the future. I'm going to put the clip here now.
Whether it's your body or just your feelings that have been hurt, tag me in and I'll fight for you.
So we can see how Kim will always be part of his life. And I just found this scene absolutely incredible. And I just love that. Like, hey, this is something that he takes from her. And he even says that. Again, those little details that the show focus on, which make this whole season absolutely amazing. Now we see in Gus' house with the co-workers of him, and Mike is also doing a step to arrive into the house. So Gus knows that he cannot strike, Lalo cannot strike, because he doesn't know where they are, and he doesn't know where the super lab is. So this is why Lalo has not taken any action, which we see why at the end of the episode. Now moving into the super lab, the way it opens is how it opens in Breaking Bad as well, in that episode where the character of in season 3, where the character of Heisenberg goes there, is just absolutely incredible. Now we get to see the construction again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, like seeing the Death Star. It's just awesome. And I just love how Gus seeing the beginning of his empire, and this scene with the music in the background, this as well was my favorite scene of the episode, because this is the beginning of the story of this place, as well as the pain that Jesse had to endure in this location. It shows so many things, and if you watch Breaking Bad, it's so many flashbacks, or in this case flash forward, about what's going to happen in this location. I also felt in a way that this was a secure place for Gus. As we know, the construction of this was stopped. After all, everything went wrong with the Germans, but this is why Lalo is investigating what happened and where he can find other information. Okay, so what happens at the end of the episode, and it's something that I'm going to explain. Now, Volkers is a real German company that has all information about real estate transactions. So I believe, from what I'm understanding, is that he's going to go there into this company to investigate what were they doing, like who hired a company in Germany to. He knows where to go and what to do. And hey, I'm happy that he did not kill the wife of the character of Werner. So, but we can see how Lalo investigate, going to the house, having that conversation with Werner's wife, investigating about what happened to him. And also this transition from day to night was super smooth, super amazing. But that's the overall episode. It was a simple episode. Nothing huge happened, but huge things about the future of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul were teased in this episode. I love the episode. I love the fight. It was hilarious, and so many great moments that have me more excited. And I cannot believe that we have to wait a week to see the next episode. And by the way, we don't have no promo at the end of the episode, so we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple. We don't know what's going to happen in the next episode. But if a promo is released, I will go ahead and do a video. But anyways, that's my theory for now. Check out these videos on Breaking of Better Call Saul. What are your thoughts on this episode? Leave your comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.